Well, hey there, EVTV. This is Anne Kloppenborg with an update from Amsterdam. I'm standing next to a 1966 Ray Wright Delta that I introduced on the EVTV show, well, quite some time ago. The building in the end goes fast. The planning and the other projects, they take a long time. But today I thought I would do a bit of a rundown of the EVTV components that we selected to put into this boat, a boatload of components, we could say. The core of the system is a AC 35x2 by HPEVS with two 144 quarters controllers and a big chill plate. I will take you around our boat. She came a long way from her original state when we got her from Classic Boats Amsterdam. She had a big rubber ring around her, and the paint was just something horrible. The interior was kind of gone. The one thing we absolutely kept was the Ray Wright logo, and we had to start with taking out everything under the bonnet. So we had quite some space to work with when we took out the four-cylinder Lotus engine that was in there, and now have a custom mount for the AC 35x2, which fits handily at 16 degrees for the prop shaft. And we have the two Curtis 144 volt controllers in the rear on their chill plate, and a prototype version high voltage board. Some cleanup on the wires needs to be done, but the function is as we were hoping, so that's good for testing. And the whole system is powered by two separate packs that together form about 160 volts. We're running 48 series on the cells, and we have 60 amp hour cells in a 2P configuration. I'm not the biggest fan of buddy packing cells since you have a lot of extra hardware at the top, and possibly some efficiency loss in the sense that you have more packing around the individual cells than you would need. But for the size and weight that we were going for on this pack, the amperage draw that we wanted to be able to do, and the kilowatt hours that we would want to have with us, it turned out that buddy packing these 60s, giving us about 135 real amp hours per buddy pack group, was the sweet spot and the way to go. The Curtis kit comes with the contactors for the pre-charge. We added a shunt and an extra contactor. The shunt is to serve the JLD 404 that we have mounted in the front. The extra contactor breaks the two separate halves of the pack, and breaking high voltage for when we go away from the boat. So we don't have high voltage all the time. We switch it with a 12-volt mass switch. Coming to the rear, we get a little bird's eye view of the controllers on their chill plate. All the great tubing and wiring done by Celso Manaya of Portugal. A wonderful job. And a low voltage box where all our control wires and 12 volt meet each other and then go up to the front. There in the back you might be able to see our 12 volt pump, which is a Bosch, and it circulates the cooling liquid in the chill plate, and the two bladders that are in the hull of the boat but that you can't see because they're under the battery boxes, keeping our system nice and cool. Coming around, we see our pressure bearing setup. So the pressure plate is at the same 16 degrees that the motor is at, and we have a custom coupling, making sure that the pressure force from the propeller shaft isn't put onto the bearings in the motor, but put on the bearings on the pressure plate there in blue. We had to reupholster the interior of the boat. We got some good old sky covering like the original, and a wig-wag throttle in the Curtis controller setup. It's a Type 4 throttle, so that you have forward and reverse in one throttle pot. Turning on the system. audible clunk when we have the pre-charge and the contactors engage. And then throttle. It's still a little finicky, we need to control. And that's where our vibration issues come into play. We've had a couple of different pressure bearings now, and we are not at the ideal situation yet. Up to about 3,000 RPMs, we're all cool. After that, we're getting resonance through the whole boat, and definitely need some further tweaking of the setup and the lining. Part of the reason is that we have a older boat, so not everything is as straight and lined as we would want it to be. Part of the reason is that we're working with some temporary parts while we're waiting for a more complete pressure bearing setup where the pressure plate itself is also can be put at variable angles. So in our interior dashboard, we decided for a single tablet display, kind of a la Tesla. We have a Google Nexus 7. It has GPS, it has Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, it can run our music, and it'll probably be able to receive canvas messaging through a Bluetooth or Wi-Fi interface, finding the right app, and if we work on that. I got 2 Bluetooth speakers that are set up to work in stereo. They're the Logitech UE Boom speakers, and I can go up to my music. So we have sound. They also work for speakerphone so that we can take calls in the boat, but also so that we can make video calling in the boat, because actually the way the camera is set up, both passenger and pilot in the boat are at perfect angle for video calling, which is going to be a lot of fun, I think. So we've got to get out in the water and test that one. And then obviously we have a big speedometer, but it can't get a GPS reading inside, so it's kind of annoying us right now. Hey, so that's it for our update this week. A quick rundown of the Delta and her components. We are gearing up towards a production version of the Delta that we want to offer for next year's season, along with the Silverback. And we have a little commercial video that we showed a intro of, or making of, last week. And I have a little bit of teaser footage that came in from the guys editing it now. So that promises a lot of good to come for the Delta project, EVTV components, and new electric Delta hull. Hey, you all keep building, we'll keep building, and we'll be in touch. See you soon. Bye-bye.